listeners, welcome to your daily cup of coffee with Charu, where hopefully, with a hot cup of coffee, we discuss how to tackle the day and the week ahead based on the astrological aspects that are dominating the sky. Yesterday, I briefed you on the Mars Neptune square that's dominating the sky this week, and it's happening at the point where the solar eclipse of 10th of June will bring about a new beginning. We all have been discussing solar eclipses bring about fated changes. The changes that would normally take years and years to happen, solar eclipses bring about that all of a sudden. But there is a build up to the solar eclipse, and this aspect is very much part of a build up to the solar eclipse of 10th of June in Gemini, and Mars is right now standing at the very degrees where that eclipse is about to happen. Today, after a brief introduction, we're going to dig into your specific zodiac sign and see how this impacts you. You can catch me on YouTube as well as across the podcast platforms, Anchor, Spotify. I will leave the links in description for you so you can access this episode also through the podcast platforms. My name is Charu and I'm your host on this journey. So let's dig in. As I mentioned in my post and podcast yesterday, Mars square Neptune will become exact on 9th of April, and it would be felt most of this week. Mars is our drive and Neptune tends to slow it down. But there is a hindrance for a more effective and inspired action that this aspect is trying to highlight to us before we go blazing into the eclipse season with a fated shift in our life. The 10th June eclipse would be starting a new chapter at the point where this aspect is happening right now. So understanding this aspect and the dissonance that it is creating this week, the purpose behind that dissonance is very important for you to have the right kind of beginning on 10th of June solar eclipse. North Node or Rahu has already visited and activated this eclipse in January of 2021. We have already experienced the activation of this new beginning, whether we are aware of it or not. Some of the things might be happening behind the scene and we may not be fully aware of. They will fully come out, and the physical manifestation of it will fully come out to light during the June eclipses. But the activation of the eclipse already began in January of 2021. Mars right now, standing at that very point in Gemini, dares us to do the right thing before we enter the physical manifestation phase of that period, of that eclipse. With Neptune, Mars is trying to put the inspiration behind our action, the right inspiration behind the actions that we're going to take. A collective goal, some faith behind our actions, and making sure that we're going after something with the right purpose behind it. Sometimes we reach where we thought we wanted to go, only to realize later on that is not the destination we truly wanted to get to. And Neptune is trying to make sure that we understand that what we are going after is truly our purpose, truly our desire. Neptune dissolves social, political, religious, and personal boundaries as well that block our collective growth. And they block the birth of a new societal ideal. So Neptune is trying to dissolve all of those hindrances and those boundaries that block that birth within ourselves as well. It teaches us to have faith in the unknown. So if we are trying to take the practical route, the easy route, Neptune is going to try to stop us in the tracks. It teaches us to have faith in the unknown, to aim higher, aim for a higher purpose, higher road. It teaches us to love unconditionally, allow the barriers to disintegrate, and act out of a place of pure inspiration to contribute to the society versus for ego gratification or for fitting into the society and our surrounding. It undermines the success which comes without service to the collective and without service to your own soul. It is trying to keep you honest to your own soul's purpose. Nothing is done fully for altruistic purposes, but Neptune demands that our motivations aren't inspired by pure ego boost or societal pressure. A very creative aspect is currently happening, and it makes us sensitive to both our soul's purpose as well as to the collective need and styles. So, what we create is made out of pure love. It is made from a place of wanting to channel our soul. And there is an element of self transcendence over here where we don't necessarily keep ourselves and our ego gratification as the front of what we are trying to do. What we hold at the front of our mind when we are going after something, when Neptune is aspecting it, is a higher purpose. And that is bound to touch others on a deeper in a deeper way. And it will serve the collective in a much, much more meaningful way. So let's put some meat on the bones now by looking at your sign. And as usual, check your rising sign. That is the key indicator. And if you're able to, check the sun and the moon sign for a fuller picture. But rising sign would be the key indicator for how this aspect is playing out for you. So let's dig in. Aquarius, for your sign, what a joyful new start this 10th of June solar eclipse is about to bring. It's happening in the most joyful part of your chart, the new start that's about to come. It's like a breath of fresh air, infusing your house of passion and joy with fresh energy. It might have come through a fated event, which has already happened in December end or January, but its full manifestation will only show up in June post the eclipse. Normally, with a new start in this part of our chart, we give birth to something that we are very passionate about and we want to leave behind that as our legacy. This could be a literary self-expression which involves reading, teaching, writing, publication, sharing your knowledge, sharing your creative intelligence through your written words or spoken words, as it gives your bold, creative high a physical manifestation. This is getting your natural juices flowing and you would be eager to share them with others. This is also a new bold phase in love and romance. Could be a time to make a choice in love and romance. It could be the time to make it formal or decide. There might be choices that are coming up in this area of your life for you, in your area of love, passion, children, creative business ventures, and joy for life. You're choosing something which brings joy to you. It's the time to radiate your confidence and take a bold step. This could be you giving birth to a child, or something bold and creative in your life is happening, possibly in life of your child. Now this transit returns to us our childlike joy and fills our soul with love. Letting love flow, letting creativity flow, let your natural charm and boldness flow through you is the aim of this eclipse that's coming in June. And right now you might be laying down some foundations to make it happen, like we're preparing for a vacation, or we're preparing for a business launch, or we're preparing for something new in our life as child, or we're preparing to give birth to something. You might be laying down the groundwork for this new start right now, with Mars, the planet of action, chipping away in a positive direction. It's making a positive aspect to you, so it's adding drive and energy to you to go after your goals. Now use this transit right now judiciously, as it's a positive gift for you. But there are multiple choices, I think, that are being presented to you to pursue. Creative energy, romance. There might be overflow, there might be a need of focus, maybe there are multiple options to go after, or even multiple places where you can lay a bet. This is where we take a bet on life. So there are multiple places where, it's like you have multiple places which can bring you joy. Now you have to make a choice of which one. Neptune will put this choice through a test of value system. Is this in line with what brings value to you? Is it what you truly value as a person? Would this be of value to the world? What you create, like if it's a new venture that you're creating and you're putting money into it, would it create value for the world, or you're doing it because you want to prove something? These questions will come up right now, and they might be putting a brake on the speed at which you're going about. Neptune sometimes even creates doubts in the value we are creating. It creates doubt in our own value, in our self-worth, as it's sort of reducing your boundaries of ego, which can deflate the ego. It makes you very, very accessible and even more charming, but because it's sort of making you accessible for others. It's reducing your boundaries with others. But it comes at a cost. It comes at the cost of taking away our sense of worth sometimes, because we are being taught not to place value in physical assets. We are being asked to place value in spiritual life and spiritual assets that we have, but not on physical ones. So the process through which this happens normally takes us through where the ego is dissolved. And when we are in that state where our ego is evolved and we are being asked to take a bet on ourselves, these are contradictory energy. Mars wants you to play a bold game of chance in life, take a bet on you, take even a monetary bet on a venture, while Neptune is dissolving whatever you previously put value on. It is dissolving what you previously depended on for consistent support, possibly even monetary support. It's helping you redefine your self-worth from a non-material source. So this creates a clear conflict and confusion and a hurdle that needs to be crossed before you get to the June eclipse, this beautiful new start in your house of passion. Neptune is trying to stop you in the track, possibly for a relook at the risk you are taking and what return you would get out of it before you go all in. It's also adding an elevated value system, a higher purpose behind what you're creating. It's adding that depth, that element of depth into what you're creating. It's making sure that it's not driven by the need of the ego, but a larger purpose, so you can sustain this for longer. Is it truly what you love? Is it truly what you want to create? Is it truly what you want to leave behind? So your talent and what you're investing in can be more of value to larger set, to the collective beyond you. Because as I said, there might be multiple options where you can go all in. And there might be some assets that you might need to acquire to make this venture more successful. There might be some intangible assets you need to acquire, intangible talents that you need to acquire to make this venture a bit more successful. It's showing you something that comes at a cost. So you're creating something that you love and you're passionate about. It could be children, it could be a love affair, it could be a passionate project that you're working on, it could be a hobby that is becoming career for you, it could be a really beautiful piece of creativity that you're going to present to everybody. It could be business venture that you're giving birth to. But you're being shown that that comes at a cost, and you're being asked to evaluate that cost. I mean, it's like when we all love to go on vacation. You have a vacation of your dream, but it comes at a cost. Before you go all in, buy those tickets, get on the plane, you're sort of being asked to reevaluate a little bit. Is this truly what will bring you fun? Is it truly that is going to make you feel at home? Is it in line with your value system? Similarly, before you go all in love or with children or in a business, we're getting a checkpoint to be sure it's worth it. More importantly, is it worth on the new scale of value system that you have created for yourself? There's a new value system that Neptune has been creating for you since 2011 when it entered your house of self-worth and net worth. Is it in line with that elevated vision you have, the value system you have for yourself? You have to deal with the problem of personal nature before the creativity and joy can fully flow in with the solar eclipse of June, before the fun begins. Return on money, investment values, need for security would be key questions in my view, which would be a hurdle you would need to cross over. Nothing is safe. Not living your talents fully, certainly not safe. But yes, believing what you're creating has value beyond material would be key to have in mind here. If you want to create something out of this world, that would have to be a barometer for you. The joy it creates, the legacy it leaves, and then money or assets is a nice side effect of it. So maybe you have to change the way you think about value. Change the return on money, return on investment, return on, investment matrix that you use for taking bets in life. And it's highlighting that before you can go in. So you do not look back and regret the decision in some ways. This would surely need you to step out of your secured zone in some ways, because this is out of your comfort zone. But it's your destiny to step out of your comfort zone. You have North Node or Rahu in your house of taking risk on yourself. So the road to success is to step out of your secure zone. It's your destiny. And this is a temporary blip, I think, which is readjusting the expectations in some ways. You have to let what's been given to you flow freely to the canvas of life. The heart you have been given, the love you have been given for the things you create, and the brilliant mind of yours. All of that was being given to be fully used in this lifetime. I don't think your passions need to be changed. That's not how I'm seeing this aspect. I don't think the passion needs to be compromised or reduced. Yes, we need to check in that we're not betting the farm on one choice. We're not betting everything on just one project. Yes, that we need to check that. And we need to check that what we're trying to do is originating from an authentic source within and not from external influences, not from the ego need. But the passion should not be blocked, the initiative should not be blocked. What needs to change here is the value system. What we attach value from and what we derive security from, that is what needs to be changed, and that is what Neptune is trying to change. I don't have to tell you all this. It isn't like you live scared on the sidelines. Aquarius are the first to dive into these kind of situations and sort of take a punt on their life. But Neptune is saying, hold on, just take a minute. Be sure that you don't regret this choice later on. Be sure that you have told yourself that the parameter by which I will measure the success of this, what I'm creating, will be different from the previous one that I had earlier. And be sure that I'm not betting the farm on one choice. There might be multiple options. Maybe putting all your eggs in one basket may not be recommended. You have Gemini in your house of risk. Gemini is multiple, it's duality. You're normally used to distributing your risk across. It doesn't mean have multiple lovers or multiple, life situations or multiple casinos to go to. It just means that you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Have an adventure, have that fun, have that passionate outlet that you're looking for. Create something, create a legacy, but check the risk before you get in. And that's the check we're getting right now. And that's the reason why you might be facing a blockage before the new start happens in June. And that is something which is internal in nature, which needs to be resolved, which needs to be changed within. And we need to attach more value to what we're creating, which is beyond the traditional security system, the traditional measures that we're used to using. So that's what I have for you, Aquarius. I'll see you in the next video now.